until the
Hold on.
ballots, they close it at night.
So we'll wait for the rest of them.
That's like, yeah.
30-second warning.
Oh, gee. Okay. Matt, give that to TJ, that's for the,
Why does TJ need it?
because he's gonna talk about it tonight. I thought he'd want that, no?
TJ?
No, that isn't the fuel one.
That's the few,
This is John's bill in Concord.
oh,
John's got the fuel one
all right,
right
so
there.
you've got the fuel
Yeah,
ones in.
I'll do it downstairs.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thanks for the
ready?
warning.
Okay, it's 3:30. I am going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, Martha,
Here,
Sue,
here.
and Smith is here. We have one non-public. It's gonna be pretty fast, quick one. Make a motion to go into non-public, session 1, RSA 91A32C. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those, roll call, Martha,
Yes.
Sue, and
Yes.
Smith is yes. Okay, we are in non-public.
3:30.
You ready?
3:49.
Okay, I make a motion to re-enter the public meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to seal the non-public minutes from session 1.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Alright. CJ, you got anything up here?
No, I'll do that, the fuel thing downstairs.
You wanna do this downstairs, the fuel thing?
Yeah, and then I can talk about it.
Okay. Matt, you have anything for up here before we transition downstairs?
Probably not. You're gonna talk about the reval and BTLA, right?
Yep, I got that.
And I knew you were interested in making a motion regarding any other petitions, so I just want to remind you of
Oh,
that.
right, I could do that right now.
There you go.
So we have the budget hearing Wednesday night, and part of that budget process, we already denied one outside agency going back in the budget process, and because the town is extraordinarily generous to outside agencies, so to be proactive, so when I go to the budget committee, tomorrow's the deadline for petition warrant articles, so to ensure that if some come in tomorrow and go to the budget committee on Wednesday, I can at least have a statement saying, just let the budget committee know if the board agrees, and I'll make the motion to deny any additional monetary warrants that have come into the budget committee. Because ultimately, it's the right of the governing body to fund them or not, even if they pass town meeting, or even if they're presented to town meeting. So I make a motion to deny funding any additional monetary warrant articles that may come in as of tomorrow afternoon preceding Wednesday's budget hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Now, is that budget hearing in the gym?
Yep, Jim. Yep. It's in the gym Wednesday night at 6:30. 7 o'clock, I'm sorry. Okay, so that takes care of that.
7.
Yep.
Has Kelly set a date for this candidates night yet?
March 4th. I think 6:30, right, or 6? Not sure. That's all right, we got time to talk about the exact time. But
I emailed it to you guys, but I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly
I don't
what.
either. I
I
got
think
the
it
email.
was.
Anything else? No? The board have anything before I recess till 4:15?
I'm all set.
No? I make a motion to recess until 4:15.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
3:42. Scott. 4:14.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Hey, Bob.
Good, how you doing? Don't be cutting the finger off. No, we're good.
How are you?
Boy,
Well, that's it.
Good.
So,
See everybody?
And they never did anything.
He's bringing it up.
Yeah,
This is
John, I'll, tired of just thinking about how to tackle that, but yes, it would be, it's whatever meeting happens right after I get the books. I order the books and then, so, it'll be until
That's a good question.
March.
Yeah, just hold and have them get it on. That's what I would do. Okay, it's 4:15. I'm going to reconvene the meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
I'm going to open the meeting to the first public input. Anybody? State your name, please, for the record.
My name is Robert Bowie, Center Ossipee, New Hampshire. So it's been, I came for one purpose, is to try and unify the division within the town here. There's a lot of questions, and we were looking to be able to view your resume. And we're also wondering how many positions you hold in the town. Could you tell us?
Sure.
Okay.
Positions, i.e. as an elected or...
All of them.
Okay, I am the chairman of the Ossipee Board of Selectmen, and I am the part-time zoning officer for the town of Ossipee.
Okay. No other positions?
No other positions.
What about a moderator?
I am not the moderator. That is Katie Bedley.
Okay. All right, and do we get to see your resume?
What do you mean by resume?
Well, we'd like to see who you are. A lot of concerns within the town.
Rather than speaking hyperbole, ask me a direct question.
Okay, we'd like a copy of your resume.
I don't have a resume. What do you mean resume?
A resume?
A resume is not a required document to be a selectman.
Well, I think it's a required document considering the people of the town want to see it.
Ask me a direct question, what you want to know about me, and I will gladly answer.
We would like to know your job history, where you come from, what you did. We understand that you're a retired police officer, retired firefighter.
Yep.
But as we investigate, that's all we see.
So what would you like to know?
Well, what brought you to Ossipee?
Freedom.
Okay.
Freedom.
All right.
This is the freest state in the country. It is number one in economic freedom, personal freedom, taxes, property rights. I can go down the list. Before I chose this state to move here, and I will gladly answer this. I'm going to answer this with
I'm
passion.
trying to be pleasant.
And I am, because
Okay.
you're impugning that there's an integrity
I'm
issue
just
with me.
asking.
I moved to this state.
The townspeople are asking.
Mr. Bowie,
me.
let me answer the question, and I will give you your time to speak.
Sure.
I moved to this state over 10 years ago to seek freedom. Freedom that everyone here cherishes. I take that into my heart. I chose to serve this town from day one in multiple forms, from budget committee to trustee of trust funds, to deputy treasurer, and now I am a selectman. Why? Because I love this town and I love this state. And then I went on to serve at the State House as your state representative for almost the last 4 years, with passion in everything I do. And you can hear my voice, I'm emotional because it feels like you're questioning my integrity.
There's a lot of townspeople, as I put these the warrant articles together, a lot of people are expressing a lot of displeasure.
With what?
And what we're trying to do is unify everybody instead of divide everybody, because right now we're divided.
In what way?
We're divided, for example, we have people that are being cease and desist off their properties.
So,
Their properties condemned, we're up to what, 56, is it?
56 what?
Homes
No,
that have been,
no, that's not true.
well, could you clarify that for me?
Sure, so ask me a specific question and I will answer it.
How many homes are condemned?
We haven't condemned any homes. As a matter of fact, one. One home because it was a health hazard. This goes back two and a half years ago.
On
Doors Corner.
Oh, yeah.
Raw sewage was spewing out of the back of the home, running downhill, impacting the neighbors. So that, yes, that home was condemned. One home has been condemned in this town.
Okay, we have Scott who's been actually cease and desist and kicked off his property.
Mr. Morgan here was dealt with accordingly. This town has bent over backwards numerous times to accommodate him, in exploring options to build on his land. Mr. Morgan chose not to follow the legal process that this town has adopted through the zoning ordinance, and matter of fact, through the state building code that Mr. Morgan would have had to follow. He made a lawful choice, and a choice on his own accord, to not follow it. So the town, i.e. the Board of Selectmen, who are required to enforce the zoning ordinance through their agent, which is me, I am a selectman, I am responsible, enforce that ordinance on Mr. Morgan. Hence also the building code as required, as passed by the state legislature.
Is there any path that we can kind of, like people like him, is there any path that we can, instead of making a division here, is there a path that we can work with a gentleman like this and give him a direction where he can go and be?
Absolutely.
I mean,
if Mr.
he
Morgan,
really needs his building permit.
Exactly, and you are 100% correct. Mr. Morgan was granted every opportunity to come in and apply for a continued, newly revised building permit, so then we could extend his camper permit so he could reside in it. Mr. Morgan chose not to follow the legal procedure and guidelines set forth by the zoning ordinance and the building code at his own will.
Well, I think he had a medical thing that happened. And kind of
Mr. Boyd, I'm not gonna deliberate every little issue
Okay,
here,
that's
because
fine,
we can
but
go back
I'm
and
just
forth.
trying to make you
Just,
aware.
I am well aware of it. Every interaction I've had with Mr. Morgan is documented. There's been a clear case set forth why he had to move out of his camper. The town of Ossipee zoning ordinance is passed by the will of the people, which is you, not here at town meeting. They chose to adopt the zoning ordinance. We, as the board, are obligated to follow it. It is the law of the town.
Okay.
I'm going to give you one more bit of information.
Yeah.
This is a Dillon's Rule state. Do you know what that means?
No.
This means only power derived in a municipality is granted to it from the state legislature. So everything this town does gets authority from the state legislature in Concord. That's it. This is the process we must follow. We're not kings and queens. We don't make up our own rules. We follow the law. It's a simple process that everybody here, the police chief, these selectmen, are required to follow. It's black and white.
So I'd like to ask one other question, concerning RVs, since we
Sure.
kind of brought that into the picture. Is, we have like Eckhoff's Auto Body down there.
Okay.
With a fifth wheel that Toby French has been living in for quite a few years.
Okay.
Is that zoned correctly?
If somebody is living in an RV full-time, that is illegal under the zoning ordinance, and if you let me know exactly where it is, I will gladly address it.
Right beside Eckhoff's Auto Body.
I'll take a
Big
note
fifth
for
wheel.
you.
Right?
Next to Echo Off, this is actually outside the purview of the selectmen's meeting. I am doing
Okay.
this to entertain
Okay,
your concerns.
Oh,
I am
okay.
extending
I
you wide
appreciate that.
latitude in this discussion.
Trust me, your word will go back to the people who had questions about this that have come to me.
Here's the issue. Humans want to believe in a villain, right? That's what they want to
Right,
do.
we wanna separate
They
that.
think
We
there's
wanna
a
stop
villain
that.
somewhere within this government. This board has done nothing since became selectman to uphold the law as required by the legislature and by the people of this town through the zoning ordinance. That's it. That's all we can do. If you follow the law, everyone is treated equally. That's the purpose of law, is to eliminate inequality and disparity amongst how people are treated. Laws create fairness.
Well, I guess there's a lot of like ruin mill out there, and we're trying to fix this.
And that's why
And
I'm
I'm trying to be a unifier.
And I'm glad you're here, because this is a great conversation, and I'm
This
glad
is great,
that.
and I think we should.
And this is what needs to happen. I wish more people came to these meetings and asked these questions, because I would answer them, and I'm passionate about this, because my integrity is all, my father always told me, the only thing you have in this world is your word. That's your integrity. Without that, you got nothing.
I
So
agree.
when I speak the truth, and I follow the law.
I agree with
And
you.
that's all we can do here. And if people don't like that, throw me out of office. But if you want someone who follows the law and treats people equally, then vote for me. So Eckhoff's, someone's living in a fifth wheel camper.
I was just wondering if it was zoned properly.
There is no zoning for campers. You can't live in a camper full-time. The only way you can is if you have an open legal building permit that you can get a special camper permit to reside in while you're building. If you stop building or your construction site becomes inactive, your permit will be either revoked or expired, and then there goes your camper permit with it.
Okay, so one more question, if you don't mind, while we're on the
Yep.
subject. Is there a path for Scott? Can we?
Yes, so I've conversed with Mr. Morgan. I've laid out all his options as to how to proceed to get to the next step of building, which is a new building permit for the next phase of construction, right? Then we will issue a new camper permit that he then can reside in while he's building. The camper permit is just not so you can live in the camper. The purpose of the camper permit is so you can build and make progress on your construction site. That's the purpose of the camper permit. It's not so you can live in it in perpetuity.
Now, does he need like a RV pad on that
No,
property? or anything? Okay.
no. You can live in it. You can live in a tent. You can live in a camper. You can build a temporary cabin to live in while you're building your main house. That's what's allotted to you through the zoning ordinance. Again, it's not my opinion. This is the zoning ordinance, the will of the people.
So how soon, if he follows procedure, could he get his building permit reinstated?
As soon as Mr. Morgan submits the plans that he told me he was going to submit, that he was working on, which never came to my office, this went on for a few months. I proactively went to him a month before the expiration of his building permit, out of my way. We're not required to do that. Out of my way, and I said, Mr. Morgan, your permit's going to expire. You need to bring in the next phase of building, meaning the next steps that you're going to progress with on your building permit. Reapply, we can renew your camper.
And is there
Never happened.
any minimum for him that he has to,
Minimum?
that he has to build on his proposal?
No, we don't have a minimum home size.
Okay.
No, but you have to, the building code says you must make progress within 6 months, or have an inspection that occurs within 6 months in order to go to the next phase. If you don't do that, the building code says your permit gets revoked. That's in it. We didn't do that. We let it expire. We didn't revoke it. We gave extra time up into the full year to allow him to get to that next phase. Mr. Morgan chose not to get to that next phase, hence his permit expired. He didn't reapply. We can't renew it, so you can't live in the camper. Again, that's the will of the people. That's the zoning ordinance. That's not my opinion.
We'll talk after.
Yeah.
Can I speak on
No,
this?
I'm not here to debate with you about this. All right, I'm answering
Right.
Mr. Bowie, then we're going to get on to town business.
Okay.
So I'm free. I want to
appreciate
clear the air because I want the truth to prevail.
Yeah, I
which
appreciate
is-
that. And
So
that's
what
what
else
we're
do
here
you
for.
want?
What else do I have? Well, I think that considering we have a town budget and we just got that release that kind of come out, I think we have probably some other issues that we probably need to face before we do things like put parking lots down at the wooden bridge or stuff like that. We have sills that need to be replaced in this building. We have a investment in Constitution Park that gets vandalized all the
So
time.
can I interrupt? I
Sure.
appreciate jumping on. That is the entire budget process that you could be part of. We've had a dozen budget public meetings on this. Matter of fact, tomorrow night is Wednesday night at 7 p.m. is the budget public hearing. You can come and voice your concerns to the budget committee. It's the budget committee's budget that's being presented to the people. The Board of Selectmen is a governing body that administers that budget. We're in charge of expending those funds.
Okay.
So your voice is on the budget, your opinion needs to be told to the budget committee.
Okay.
And then come to town meeting. I wish more people came to town meeting. That's your voice, that's your vote.
Yeah, this building's been here a long time. and
We
it's
know
a
that,
big piece of-
we've talked about, we can go on all day about this, I'm sorry, we've almost 15 minutes into this meeting,
Oh,
we're
I
supposed to get
appreciate
5
it.
minutes, but I'm glad you came to clear the air, and I really hope you,
We're gonna try and unify and get everybody on the same
so,
page.
this idea that we're doing things nefariously and improperly, no, we're following the law.
Okay.
And if you're not happy with following the
No,
law,
I'm
then.
fair with you. I
Okay,
mean,
so
yeah,
that's
I'm
what we
fair
do
with you.
here.
You gave me some very fair answers, I'm very happy.
Okay, so any other questions before I move on to Dallas? 'Cause we're-
No, we'll let Dallas kind of move.
Go ahead, Dallas.
Mr. Chair, so, couple things I want to ask you. Are you also still the deputy health officer?
Yes,
Okay, so I just want to make sure because you didn't mention it.
but that's not a job, Dallas.
It's still a job. Okay,
Okay, all right, in all fairness, I am the deputy health officer, I serve under Matt, TJ is a deputy health officer.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
TJ and I had a pretty good
That,
meeting.
that wasn't,
All right,
I just wanted to ask that. As far as the law, well, we know the law doesn't matter because during COVID, the law didn't matter at all. Okay, they threw that right out the window.
that's not our fault.
But you keep following the state law. That's what you keep just said. The state dictates. Okay, the state dictates everything. So we know that they don't follow the law.
So just-
so once again, I have to follow the law, but they don't. And then I'm going to go back to the only way, from what I understand, the only way to resolve people's issues with zoning is to get rid of zoning.
I say that all the time,
Right.
Dallas.
So if anybody
We should all
wants
get
to
on the
get
same
rid,
page with that, I think.
You as a citizen, Dallas, and I've said this to Dallas for 2 years, you don't want zoning, submit a petition warrant article.
Right.
Tomorrow's the deadline, get your signatures, submit it, it goes to town meeting for a
I
vote.
just did 3 towns. I
Well,
forgot.
I'm just,
that is,
I'm
but
warning.
I want to make that point
Right.
that if they don't want these zoning regulations in place, the only way to get rid of them is to
Exactly.
vote them out.
I say that all the time.
Right.
When anyone who complains, I say, get a petition and throw it out.
What is it? It's 2 years before the next one, right?
What?
The
No, next year.
deadline?
Town meetings are every
Oh,
year, every March.
oh, okay. So why don't we'll plan on,
Oh, that's you, that's you.
Yeah, I'll plan on that.
That's just, I'm just throwing it out there,
That's
and
your
that's all I
choice.
have to say about it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and
Well,
that's
if I
a fact.
gotta get a couple
factual
going, I'll
statement.
get a couple going. We'll
You
see
can
what we
submit it, and then it gets voted on by the people at town meeting.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Okay, Kate?
So if, let's just say we go through with no zoning, let's just pretend, right? So even Tamworth, the people say has no zoning, really does. They call it different things, but they certainly you can't do anything you want to. So how would it look like if a town, say like Ossipee, and that went through, no zoning?
It's-
Because we obviously would have to have some.
The only thing that would stay in place is you have to follow the building code. That's state law, Dillon Rule State.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You have to follow it, and you still have the building inspector position. Zoning refers to land use and land use only. That dictates what you can and can't do on your land, i.e. setbacks, living in a camper, et cetera. I can
I've
go
been
on
on the
and on.
zoning board before myself.
Okay, so that's directly just with zoning. You still have planning board, you still have all that stuff.
Oh, all right.
I like that.
Any other questions?
Good. No?
No? No other public input? Okay, I'm gonna close the public input, and I'm gonna move on. Sorry it went so long, but Mr. Bowe, you had a lot of
No,
questions.
you guys, you did good.
Yep.
It's great.
I'm gonna go on to the red folder documents, Martha.
Have the town of Ossipee check voucher totals for week ending February 6th. Total payroll was $46,288.42. Accounts payable general fund spent $68,553.81. The water department spent $20, and the sewer spent nothing. Total funds payments was $114,862.53. Make a motion to approve these.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have the selectmen's meeting minutes for January 22nd here, and I make a motion to approve these.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have an application for a tax credit exemption for a veteran. This is for property located at 14 Skyhawk Drive. Make a motion to approve this exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a request for one clerical abatement property located at 110 Nichols Road, map 29, lot 1, subdivision 638, for $5.84. I make a motion to approve this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a supplemental warrant in the amount of $353. I make a motion that we approve this supplemental warrant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have another supplemental warrant in the amount of $110. I make a motion, we approve this supplemental warrant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a sewer warrant in the amount of $522, and I make a motion to approve this sewer warrant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What do you got? Okay, TJ, I got the memo here for the fuel. Did you want to talk to it, or you want me to just read the memo?
Yeah, can I have, you can read it if you want, but if I read it, I can.
Just read it, and I'll just make the motion
Okay.
after you talk about it.
So one of the improvements as far as the buildings around here that we need to do is our fuel system is completely out of date. It has a key system for everybody to get fuel, and it stays with the vehicle. The problem with that, the keys come up missing. We found them in the snowbank. We found them left in the pump. And it's not accurate because, say you have someone getting fuel, they use the key, you have no idea who that person is. This new fuel system is a smart fill system, and this is the brochure on it. It has a 4-pin key that everyone, a 4-pin that everyone will have, put their number in, and then the vehicle number, and then the vehicle's mileage. So we'll know exactly when that person got fuel, how much fuel they got, what vehicle they got it in, and what the mileage was on the vehicle. It's a lot more secure. And right now, there's a system down there with an analog readout that Neil has to go down and read off, and has issues. And we had an issue this year where it wasn't recording because someone left the key on and the needle was spinning. So this is going to be a lot more accurate. This is cloud-based. There's no monthly fee, no yearly fee. It goes right to the cloud. The chief of the fire department, the chief of the police department, myself, Neil, Matt, will be able to log in and see exactly who's using fuel, what fuel we've used, and then when it gets billed out quarterly, everyone knows exactly to the gallon what fuel they have. It also will reorder when it gets low, because that's a problem with our fuel system now, is when, say we have a 3-day weekend, fuel can get too low. The total price on this, and it is my recommendation that the board purchase a smart fill fuel management system through Lakes Region Environmental Contractors is who we use. It's $13,605, but I believe that's cheap for what it is. It's quite a system. Anyone can look at this, and then we can bill out quarterly, and there's no question. Everybody knows, the fire precincts know. And this is a memo just for the board, asking that they approve the purchase of this.
So I'll make a motion to approve as presented the fuel system management in the amount of $13,605. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Sure, Dallas, even though it's not public input.
Is it a system that can be manually override?
Yes, I will have the fob and Neil will. Neil, myself, and I believe it's Eric, are the class, are the underground storage operators for the town. I'm the A, Neil's the B, and he's the C. And we're gonna get recertified this spring actually for it. And I will have a fob that goes in, Neil does, if the Wi-Fi goes out or anything. This is gonna be hardwired and Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So if one goes out, we still have that backup, plus I have that USB that goes in there. I can pull the information off, and as soon as the Wi-Fi comes back on, it goes to the cloud again.
Okay. That was my
Yep.
question.
Okay. I have 4 requests for clerical abatements. I'll make one motion at the end. First one is for map 73, lot 10, sub 10B. The camper was in a different name for the 2023 tax season. Refund amount is $110. The next one is map 29, lot 1, sub 417. The camper was registered for the 2023 tax season. It's the amount of $187. I'll make map 73, lot 140, sub 29. The camper was in a different name for the 2023 tax season. The amount is $353. Next one is map 17, lot 14, sub P13. Due to a value change between the 2 building cycles, an abatement is needed in the amount of $13. Actually, it was 5. This is the last one. Next one is map 29, lot 1, sub 374. Camper was registered erroneously. It is a park model, not a travel trailer. That is in the amount of $74. I make a motion to approve those 5 clerical abatements.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I have a letter here. It's from the Board of Selectmen. This is to the Public Works and Highways Committee. It's to support HB 1468 FNA. That's the railroad corridor bill that I am testifying in State House on Wednesday. I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I want to acknowledge TJ. We got our second FEMA check in the amount of $183,306.25. This would not have occurred without TJ's due diligence, attention to detail, and administrative function. The reason why we got this check. So thank you, TJ. The taxpayers are grateful for this.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about that as well?
Sure,
How
Dallas.
close does that bring us to our amount that we needed to come to? Wasn't it like 700,000?
No, that's, go ahead, TJ.
That's 100% for the December storm. That one there is for category A culverts. We had that culvert fail on Granite Road, and we actually got a 100% refund on that. It was $183,000, we got $183,000.
Good job.
So that's the second storm.
That's the first storm. The second storm is June, we're still going through the process there. It's a lot more in depth because it's a lot bigger of a number, but what we got on the grants portal right now, it says 705 for the town of Ossipee.
Right.
If
Okay,
we
so-
can get that back. That's 75% of the
Right.
total cost we spent out.
I knew it was in the 700 range.
Yep.
Okay. We got our release from the Department of Revenue Administration. This was going back when the town was doing property tax exemptions in a way that wasn't lawful. We have since fixed that through extremely hard work and due diligence. This is not because of this board's doing, this is back to previous boards doing things improperly. We have been released from the DRA. That letter's in the file if anyone ever wants to read it. That's good work on behalf of everybody. You want to speak to Arnold at all? or-
Very relieved and
Yeah.
happy it's over and.
This is what happens when you do things the right way.
Is that the meeting that you guys were supposed to have that never happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they decided to do something, but they never had a meeting?
We
Because
had-
I waited
we-
a long time to hear something about
Yeah,
that meeting.
you did. That was gonna be the second hearing. We'd had the first hearing.
Right,
Based on the responses that the town gave them through our assessor as well as all the documentation I compiled, they kind of moved past the second hearing and on to remedying it all, which has included changing our assessor. We're in a new contract with Avatar Associates.
so there was a
New
whole bunch of
processes.
changes that happened.
Yeah.
Yep,
Nice.
Now we're fully compliant. and-
fully compliant, that's the goal of this board, and it should be every board, is to follow the law. When you follow the law, everything falls into place. It's really that simple.
Okay, yeah. All right, so that's, we'll never have that other meeting. And that's, it was always in the back of my mind, we're gonna have that other meeting.
Yeah, no news is good news in this
Okay.
case, but it wasn't without a lot of work behind the scenes, but there just wasn't a hearing, there wasn't that second hearing.
Okay.
Well, thanks,
perfect.
Matt.
Thank you.
You got anything to add, or you or the board, before I open the public input again?
I got something on the transfer
Oh, yeah,
station.
go ahead.
So there's gonna be some changes at the transfer station you're gonna see. As I said in the previous meeting, we have a permit by notification now. Our previous permit, we haven't had one since 1981, so we got a new one. This new permit by notification, the board can change hours, anything they want at the transfer station, and we don't have to go through that long process to change it on our permit. This is really good for the town of Ossipee transfer station. You're gonna see a new sign when you go into the entrance, because that has to be up to date with what we accept, with hours on it. We do have enough credits through NRRA to pay for that sign. The other thing is Thursday, they did just re-inspect the scales and calibrate the scales, so those are all calibrated. And we're gonna try to do something down back for some more storage for the cardboard and stuff like that, to put it under cover. And some railing systems in front of the construction debris dumpsters, make it a little safer for everybody. So you'll be seeing that happen over there. That's why the sign conveniently fell down the last storm, so we're gonna replace it with a new one. And the PD's gonna be getting a new sign too. I just got the email today that it's almost done, so.
Okay, I'm gonna open up to the second public input.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
just
Frank.
one thing.
Sure.
On Ossipee Mountain Road, the dirt part, it's really, really getting bad up there. I'm doing this going up, I live up in that area, and I'm all over the road to miss the potholes, and it's all iced up. I'm afraid somebody's gonna pull out one of the driveways, or there's kids up in there, or, because you can't drive on one side or the other. If you try, you're all over, you're banging, you're bouncing, and, you know, and there's a couple of dips in the road. I'd just like to know, could they go up there and maybe fill those holes in and the dips, and maybe sand it again?
It's been an extremely challenging winter with the freeze.
It's real challenging.
Crazy
It's been
winter.
a very hard winter on dirt
Yeah,
roads.
I know, but it's real
I
bad.
think they're doing the best they can, right, DJ?
Put
No, I'm
stone
just
in it.
asking if they get a chance, could they do it?
Yeah, we can put stone in it, that's what we've been doing, so when the spring comes, we can grade it. Neil grades it in. He's been doing patching today, and he will get to it. We went up there, him and I did today, there is some potholes. We're gonna have to take it slow until we get them filled, so.
It's ridiculous. It's a lot of potholes.
Okay, Frank.
But, you know, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Sure.
Especially with a lot of kids up there in the morning. Somebody hits one of those potholes, and they lose control, they could get one of the kids on the side of the road, you know, that are waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
He'll be up there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public input?
That's all.
I think we're good.
I just want to remind everybody that there is a budget committee meeting on Wednesday. If everybody's concerned
Tell them
about the
what time.
budget, it's at 7. There's actually 6:30, the actual budget committee meeting.
Right here.
Public meeting will be at 7, it'll be right here at the town hall.
I do have one if I
Go ahead,
could.
Mr. Bowen.
Matt, did my warrant article pass?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's already been put onto our electronic warrant with the state.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate you.
Any other public input?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna just speak about two state issues tomorrow, Wednesday. We have the bill that I submitted for the rail bed, to hopefully get a rail trail going or something, just to light a fire under the state. I'll be testifying on that, Wednesday at the Legislative Office Building in room 201, I think around 1 o'clock. We have a ton of support, in letters and emails and such, so hopefully we get some good progress on it, because that's a win for this town if something happens with that. It'll bring economic activity, it'll bring people, businesses, improve the tax base. There's no losers in this if it happens. Go ahead, Chris.
To start at 1 o'clock or 1:15?
1:15.
1:15.
Yeah, I said about 1, but yeah, 1:15. You're
On
right.
Wednesday?
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, both he and I are going to be testifying too from different angles. I'll be representing the chamber, but also my position on the Washington Valley. They, I think, have submitted a letter of support too, so I don't know if they're testifying.
Yeah,
So we got a lot of support. Chris is going to be the Economic Council. So.
that's great. No, we need more support, the better.
Which committee again?
That's Public Works and Highways.
Okay.
I have a bill tomorrow, and I'm going to speak to this because we're talking about freedom and property rights. I submitted a bill, HB 1532, it's called the Landowner Rights and Responsibilities Act.
I did get a copy of that.
Yeah, and basically, this became law last year, and I don't really know how, but right now, if you find a tree stand or game camera on your land, you're not allowed to remove it. That boggles my mind. You don't need to be a hunter, this is not a partisan issue. If I find a tree stand in my woods and I don't want it there, I should have every right to remove it. The way the law says now is you have to contact law enforcement to get permission, that's wrong. Same thing if you find a game camera on your land surveilling you, you can't just remove it. If you do, you're subject to a fine and a violation under the law.
My goodness.
My bill is to correct those issues. Also, current law says Fish and Game Department staff and Fish and Game officers can place a game camera upon your land without a warrant, which is mind-boggling. I mean, that is the epitome, this is supposed to be a free country. We have the Fourth Amendment, we have the New Hampshire State Constitution, and I am trying to fix that tomorrow with my bill, and I will be testifying to it, and I hope it passes. It's about restoring property rights.
I'm trying to figure out how it even made it in.
It went through consent calendar, and consent calendar is when the House version and the Senate can't agree, and they come up with a solution, but sometimes the solutions are terrible, and this was one of them.
Yeah, but nobody looked at the constitutionality of it? mean,
I wasn't there for that.
That's their only job.
I wasn't there for that.
I know, but that's their only job.
Well, I can't speak to the past.
That's what they're there for.
I'm trying to fix it in the future.
I know, I understand. I'm just
Yeah.
bringing it up.
Yep. So anyway, anything else from anybody? One last public input, even though I already closed it.
I do know you're very intelligent and you're very good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
So, just to clear that air.
Hi, so
I
I
know, I
am a
have to.
community health worker, and today I was working on a little bit of, I guess, kind of a grant. It's not much, it's $2,500. So I'm applying for it, and I do know that there's a void in this area with health care, mental health care, physical health care. And so I'm just looking for ideas, like if the 2,500 comes through, how can I best use this in the community that would make, somewhat of a positive, impact. So I'd just like to give you my email, and if anyone has any suggestions or ideas,
Okay.
you're more than welcome to email me. It's just myossipee@gmail.com. So
That's easy.
I was going to say, there you are. So it's just for, and if you have any other town concerns, it's just myossipee@gmail.com, right? But anyways, I think I'm fairly certain that we'll get the 2,500.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Val.
Can I ask what's the grant encompass?
What do you mean?
I mean, grants are usually specific to something. They
It's
usually go for
community,
something.
it's very vague, and I'm still working on this. It's community health, and especially rural areas where there's a lack of health resources, both physical and mental health issues. So, and I'm a community health
Okay.
worker. So they contacted me and said, look, this is available, what do you think? Could you use it? And I'll just follow through, but I'd love to hear some ideas of what we could use.
Okay, great.
Not to throw TJ under the bus, but he's a really good grant writer. He might give you some advice.
Well, then I know his number.
He does. He's written 2 of them, and it's really
I'm
good.
going to close the public input. Next BOS meeting is going to be February 12th. We have to sign the warrant, correct?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so February 12th will be the next meeting. You already heard about the budget hearing.
Yep.
Nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That's the next meeting here.
All those in favor? Aye. 4:50.
Wow.